Oh God! Oh Jesus Christ!
Hello. Is this thing on? Okay, here we go. So, bear with me, this is my first YouTube video.
You probably noticed.
A movie review. And a Star Wars one at that, how original. Anyway, I've been bored shitless during this... What's the YouTube friendly term for it?
It's a fucking lockdown!
Yeah, that's the one. Finally, this global wave of shitness that's affected millions of people is coming to an end. And COVID-19's on its way out too. Of course, we're all wary of a second wave. If Disney have their way, there'll be a fucking tsunami from now till the end of time. Are they going to retcon the whole prequel trilogy? Not till I finish this review, I hope. I'm going to be talking about this turd of a movie in some detail, so if you've not seen it, 1, I fucking envy you, and 2, fucking spoilers. Oh, you might have noticed, I'm going to swear quite a bit. So a little bit of background here for some context. I saw the first Star Wars film when its release as a kid. Fucking loved them all. Saw the prequels as a working adult. Not very good. Thought The Force Awakens was okay. And obviously I hated The Last Jedi. Shit. So I sat down to watch this with pretty low expectations. I strapped myself in and I prepared for the worst as the title crawl started. Now, it might just be me, but if I was making a movie that featured a beloved actress who had died before filming, and a lot of the hype had been around how she'll have a speaking role in the film and be treated respectfully, maybe, just maybe, I wouldn't start the film with the line "the dead speak." But that's just me, you know. Turns out the dead they're talking about is the Emperor. Yep, that's right. Old Man Palpy is back. I guess they wanted to use him in the marketing, so they couldn't really keep it a secret. If you had avoided all the spoilers, you'd be stunned. Imagine they'd started The Empire Strikes Back with the crawl, "Darth Vader is Luke's father."
You what?
So Palpy's back, and he's broadcasted his plan to the whole galaxy for some reason. Remember when he was the Phantom Menace? He worked in the shadows and no one really knew what he was up to. Well, look at him now. Loose lips fucking Magoo. So the opening crawl's just started. I'm already on fucking edge. I'm not even going to attempt to cover everything wrong with this film. So here's a quickish summary of the main bits that stood out to me. The First Order have taken over everything. Fair enough. Kylo Ren is trying to find the Emperor. He goes on a rampage, apparently, which involves slow motion killing some extras to get the thingamajig that he's looking for to find Emperor World. Now, I'm not a fan of all the extra info that comes out after the film to try and make it make sense. Call me old-fashioned, but I like the movie to make sense without having to read a book or a guide or whatever afterwards. But in some supporting pamphlet or something, it says this planet is Mustafar, where good old Darth Vader lived. This raises an interesting scenario. Why didn't Force Ghost Anakin tell the others, and specifically his son, about it? Especially as we found out that his son is looking for it later on. Probably still pissed about getting his legs cut off. Anyway, it's not in the film, so I don't know why I'm going on about it.
Stay on target.
So Kylo finds the planet, which is called Exegol, which to me sounds like a contraction of the words excrement and testicle. So I'm going to be calling it Planet Shitballs from here on in. On Planet Shitballs, he meets Old Man Palpy. There's no fucking explanation of how he survived the end of Return of the Jedi.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
Oh, fuck off!
Is this Old Man Palpy a clone? We do see aborted Snoke clones subtly telling us that Old Man Palpy's behind Snoke. Of course, he also outright tells us he was as well. Hang on, are you telling me that this Snoke clone was the one that passed the quality checks? How about this one, Mr. Palpatine?
No, I told you. I want one that looks like my bull bag. Here, let me show you again.
It's true what they say, clone Snoke, go broke. So Old Man Palpy wants Rey dead, and he promises Kylo everything. even though the First Order seems to pretty much be in control by the looks of it. Palpy raises a shitload of Star Destroyers, apparently from underground. This is the final order. So he might look a bit weakened and be attached to some kind of robotic arm thing and have crispy fingers, but Old Man Palpy seems insanely powerful. Meanwhile, Rey's training with Leia. Rey can fly now. It's probably called Force Hover or some such shite, but she never does it again, so you can forget about it. At this point, I was getting serious Dr. Manhattan vibes. I mean, Jedi can see the future, kind of, and they move stuff around with their minds all the time. But I suppose as long as she can't come back from the dead and starts teleporting shit around, then she won't have gone full Dr. Manhattan. We get our first scenes with Leia, and at the risk of getting the video taken down, I want to show you how seamlessly they fitted her in.
I'm just not feeling myself. I know it looks like I'm making excuses.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
I will earn your brother's saber. One day.
A little short for a stormtrooper.
Fucking eerie, isn't it? The dead speak right enough. Oh yeah, while all this has been going on, Poe and Finn and Chewie have been getting info from a spy in the First Order, and they're now escaping from the TIE fighters by lightspeed skipping, where they can do multiple lightspeed jumps to evade the First Order ships. If only Poe had been with the Resistance ships in The Last Jedi, eh? Kept that one quiet, didn't you Teletubby named fucker? What else are you keeping to yourself? So they all rock up at the planet Rey's on, pretending to speak to Leia. They exchange some friendly banter, so we know they've become good friends at some point. Lala tells everyone the big secret they've found out, that Old Man Palpy is back, and they've only got 16 hours to stop him. Then, just to rub in the fact that it will never be explained how the Emperor returns, that guy from The Lord of the Rings says, cloning, dark secrets known only to the Sith. Yep, cloning, known only to the Dark Lords of the Sith. And fat fuckers that run 50s diners, and pretty much everybody else in the galaxy. Also, there was a whole army of clones, who incidentally look like normal guys, and not scrotum-faced skeleton men. So the story's only just started, and already my brain's exploding with questions. Questions like, why did Old Man Palpy tell the galaxy in advance that he was back?
I don't know.
If he announced his plans, how are the Resistance just finding out now?
I don't know.
How's he back at all?
I don't know.
Could Snoke do all his own stuff, or was he just a puppet?
I don't know.
Where does this 16 hours ticking clock come from?
I don't know.
Why did Palpy build his ships underground?
I don't know.
Are all the ships fully staffed with hundreds of thousands of followers?
I don't know.
Why does Palpy need the First Order at all?
I don't know.
So many questions already, but the film doesn't want you to dwell on them, so it moves on at lightning speed. And now the fun adventure begins. But only if you go and watch another fucking film. I recommend The Goonies. So the main gist of it is, they need to get to Old Man Palpy to kill him. They need to find a thing, to get to a place, to find a thing, to get to the planet that he's on. So it's like a treasure hunt type thing. Like something from a pirate film. First of all, there's a dagger that has instructions on it, and this leads to a thing that shows them the way they need to go. So I have an issue with this. First of all, they need a dagger from a Sith assassin who was sent by Old Man Palpy to kill Rey and her parents. The dagger's got instructions on it to where the second thingamajig is. They're called wayfinders. Now in pirate days they might have had a map or directions carved on something, but here's the thing about that. Old-timey pirates didn't have futuristic computer navigation and shit. Just remember what planet it's on, and then get your ship to fly there. You've been there before, just remember it. Why does the assassin need a map to the thing anyway? Didn't he already know the way? Was he a forgetful assassin? Did he have the thing that guy from Memento had, so he had to make maps of all the places he'd been because 5 minutes later he'd forget. It's not the best attribute for a hired killer. Who am I hunting again? He certainly seems to have forgotten all about finding Rey after killing her parents. Even worse, when they get to the place the dagger tells them to go, it's carved in such a way that it fits the outline of the Death Star wreckage and shows them, really vaguely, where to go to find the thing. But anyway, that's all still to come. It has to be said, the whole dagger thing is pretty pointless anyway. That's not a fucking pun. The gang go to this desert planet to try and find the assassin. Because you need another desert planet for a Star Wars film, right? It's called Pasaana, and there's a big party going on. You know, life under the First Order seems to be a fun time. And the party last happened 42 years ago, when the Empire would have been in charge. These Pasaana party guys don't give two fucks who's in charge. And while there, Rey gets a Force Skype from Kylo, who grabs a necklace off her that she was conveniently just given, Force teleporting it to himself. The CSI team on Kylo's ship quickly identify exactly where it's from. Probably says made on Pasaana on it. And Kylo sends out the infamous Knights of Ren. And just so you know who these guys are, they walk past a couple of stormtroopers, and one of them says to his pal, the Knights of Ren, ghouls.
Oh, fuck off!
On Party World, the gang gets pulled up by a stormtrooper who gets promptly shot in the eye by a masked figure. It's only Lando Calrissian, folks. He just pops up randomly. Rando Calrissian, if you like. Oh, and Finn meets a woman later that's also an ex-stormtrooper like him, further cementing that stormtroopers are real people, capable of change and being good guys again.
Look at all these people just enjoying themselves. I should just leave the First Order and blend in with these guys. Start a new life and do something good for a change. Oh, my fucking eye!
Rando tells them that him and Luke, rest in peace, were tracking the assassin many years ago, but they lost him, and then they just, I don't know, stopped looking. Useless fuckers. So they all end up getting chased by stormtroopers on bikes, and these bikes have tracks that travel along the sand. This makes sense because sand can be a pretty difficult thing to travel over. You know, unless you live in a universe where nearly every transport fucking flies. And these bikes do a wee manoeuvre, no, not that one, which launches the jetpack troopers into the air. Presumably, the jetpacks need a boost to get going. Those are some pretty shitty jetpacks they've got there. Wish.com jetpacks, $10 each. The gang eventually escape and end up right next to the assassin ship that Rando told them about. Then they sink into the sand like it's quicksand or something. And at this point, I'm already thinking, good, just fucking die. I want to see the movie where Old Man Palpy and Kylo kill everyone and then turn on each other. Tragically, it's at this point in the film that they don't fucking die. They just pop out of the sand into an underground tunnel. Now, I'm no geologist, but the sand is thin and gooey enough for things to fall through it, but strong enough to maintain a tunnel without caving in.
I find that rather difficult to believe.
It's like a 5-year-old wrote this. So the tunnel's got a big snake in it, which Rey can tell is in pain, and she uses another new force power, Force Heal, to heal its wounds. And it goes away quite happy. They find the dead assassin, so they've got the dagger. Hooray! Stage 1 complete. So basically, if Luke and Rando had done a bit more searching, or maybe Luke had used, I don't know, the Force, they'd probably have found this years ago. Useless fuckers. However, there's a manufactured obstacle to overcome. The directions on the dagger are written in Sith, and no one speaks Sith, except C-3PO, who can read it, but he's not allowed to translate it because of his programming. Why is this not allowed?
I don't know.
So they need to go and get someone to reprogram him. Which, I mean, in this universe, fucking kids can do, but apparently this is a tricky one. Oh, and then Rey wanders off to confront Kylo, who she senses is nearby. So it's literally taken Kylo and the Knights of Ren 10 minutes to get to this planet, which could have been on the other side of the galaxy from where they were, but apparently was just round the corner. So a couple of things happen here. Firstly, Chewie wanders off to find Rey, and he gets captured, which is kind of un-Chewie-like. I reckon he'd go out fighting, unless his friends were in imminent danger. Oh yeah, and he had the dagger too. Secondly, Kylo Ren tries to run Rey down in a TIE fighter. Now this is the scene that was in the trailers, and when I saw it I thought the context was going to be that this was some kind of dream. It was just the way that it looked and the fact that it seemed a bit ridiculous, that way that dreams don't make sense. But no, it's real, and it makes no sense. If he wants to kill her, then shoot her with the TIE fighter's big fuck-off guns. If he doesn't, which it turns out is the case, he comes damn close to doing it. She flips over and wrecks the TIE fighter. Kylo Ren crashes spectacularly, surely dying, or at least being horribly injured. But luckily, he knows how to use Force airbag, and he walks away completely unscathed. And then, Finn, who has seen Chewie getting led away onto a ship, shouts on Rey that the ship flying overhead is the one with Chewie in it. So Rey stops the ship mid-flight with Force tractor beam, and Kylo pops up and they start a sort of tug-of-war with this ship in mid-air. That is until Rey loses her temper and releases accidental Force lightning, which destroys the ship. And that's it. Chewie's dead. Finn shouts, which appears to be all he does now. Rey cries. Chewie is gone. What a sad moment. And then he's right back, standing on the Star Destroyer. It was about this point that the pace really started to become noticeably frantic. And when I say frantic, I do of course mean shite. After the film, I started thinking about it. We need this thing. Here it is. We need that guy. Here he is. We need to get to this place. Here we are. This person's dead. No, he isn't. It was like a cartoon show trying to fit a mystery storyline into about 20 minutes. Specifically, it reminded me of Scooby-Doo. So the mystery crew go to another planet instantly to find the guy that can reprogram C-3PO. They meet Tinky Winky's old flame, Zori Bliss, who has a fight with Rey and then stops and instantly likes her. A forced friendship. She takes them to see Babu Frick, another new character, who is at least a cheery wee chap. When the best thing in your movie is a wee puppet that pops up going, yay, you've got problems. You know, unless it's a Muppet movie. Anyway, Babu Frick has to wipe C-3PO's memory to let him translate the dagger. And it's played as basically the death of C-3PO. I remember when him getting his memory wiped was just a throwaway gag. To jump ahead, he gets it fully restored later by R2-D2 in a matter of seconds, so it all means nothing really. But 3PO gets his red eyes for the trailer shot, and everything is cool. Now they know where to go. But at this point, Rey senses Chewie is alive on Kylo's ship, which is nearby of course. Where else would it be in this galaxy that's apparently the size of a shopping mall? They decide to rescue him, and Zori gives them a medallion that will get them onto any ship. Another magic plot device. I'm sure most reviewers were pissed off by this, but by this point in the film I was just thinking, yeah, of course, a magic object that advances the plot. Why the fuck not? I mean, they went there to get C-3PO's mind wiped. This medallion thing is just tacked on for no reason whatsoever. Presumably to give the actress playing Zori more than 2 lines. Must be an actors' union minimum or something. The rescue of Chewie Wookiee Woo is full of shit stuff. They kill troopers in the hangar of the ship. No one notices. They shoot out the security cameras. A surefire way to alert security. Rey goes to find the dagger, which Kylo confiscated from Chewie, and the rest of the guys get captured. Just as they're waiting to be executed, the gang are saved by Hux, who is the spy. Of course he is. He's the only other person in the First Order that we know. Why is he turned spy? This fanatical devotee of the First Order? What complex ethical or political stance has led him to turn his back on his beloved regime? He just doesn't like Kylo Ren.
Back off!
Still, it might be interesting to see what Hux does next. Oh, he's dead. Of course. Rey and Kylo have a Skype fight this time. He's on the planet and she's creeping around his quarters going through all his shit. So now Force users can actually physically fight while Skyping. I mean, why even leave the house? Just sit in a comfy chair.
Comfy chair?
And do everything from there. Who needs spaceships? Why isn't Old Man Palpy doing this shit from his evil lair? So the gang finally escapes from Kylo's ship and heads off to find the next clue in the mystery. It's on a moon of Endor, the wreckage of the second Death Star. A huge chunk has apparently survived and landed in the ocean.
I find that rather difficult to believe.
And I'm just going to skip over the fact that the dagger shows them really roughly where in the wreckage the next mystery object is. Rey goes to get it and ends up in the Emperor's old throne room, which looks pretty good after the whole massive explosion thing and fall through the atmosphere and decades in the ocean. Also, the power still works for the doors, which is handy. She has the trailer baiting Dark Rey confrontation, which lasts about 10 seconds in the film. She's about to get the Wayfinder, and then Kylo turns up, somehow, and destroys it. What a waste of time this whole thing has been. So they go outside for a dramatic fight in the wind and ocean spray. For once in the trilogy, Rey's getting her ass kicked. It's a bit late in the day, but at least it's something different. Then, just as Kylo's about to beat her, Leia, from a million miles away, Force taps him on the shoulder or something, and he goes, "What?" and drops his lightsaber. Seeing her chance, Rey brutally murders the unarmed man, so she's learned something at least. But then she feels bad because Leia has died helping her kill Kylo. So she brings him back to life and it's all fixed now, and again was utterly pointless. By now, Rey's found out she's Old Man Palpy's granddaughter, so she decides to fuck off to the place Luke went and exiled himself. She just lands and burns her ship. Then, as she goes to chuck away her lightsaber, the ghost of Luke pops up and catches it. He then says, directly to Rian Johnson, "Jedis don't throw away their lightsabers, you moon-faced fuckwit." I might be paraphrasing a bit there. Luke gives Rey a wee pep talk, then raises his old X-Wing out of the sea, and she's back on the chase with the Wayfinder that was in Kylo's ship. Now, in the logic of the movie, she's literally been gone for about an hour. Remember, everything we've seen so far has happened in about half a day. Most of the other rebels probably thought she'd just gone for a really long piss. Now it turns out that Old Man Palpy's ships, which we saw him launch earlier from underground, are a bit shit. There may be thousands of them, but it turns out they can't fly up. And they can't use their shields until they get out of the planet's atmosphere, which is something that they've not already done for some reason. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. The new Star Destroyers have Death Star guns on them. Of course they do. This makes them pretty formidable, but they also blow up if you shoot the guns. I mean, seriously, what are they talking about? Obviously, there has to be a way to defeat the Invincible Armada, but come on, this isn't an overlooked weakness, this is a complete cock-up. So everyone heads off to shitballs, and Rey faces off with Old Man Palpy. She's surrounded by thousands of onlookers. There's been a lot of speculation about who they are, Sith acolytes, ghosts of the Sith. Personally, I thought they were shipbuilders. Just a bunch of working class guys who work in the shipyards.
So that's us done building the Armada for old Palpy then. Aye, what a nightmare this has been. I told them. I said building these underground's a terrible idea. It's a health and safety disaster waiting to happen. Aye, but no one listens to us. I mean, I've been building Star Destroyers since the old Empire, and when I built them, they could fly up. Aye, and those Death Star cannons. I know, one shot and the whole bloody thing'll come down. I hate to think what would happen if horses got loose on the outer hull. Horses? The fuck are you talking about, horses? Have you been on the blue milk again? I'll just be glad to get away from here. The more I hear about that Emperor fella, the more I think he's a bit dodgy. A bit dodgy? He blows up planets for fun. Aye, he's a menace right enough. A menace? A menace is someone that puts bubblegum in your locks. This guy wants to rule the galaxy. And another thing, that last company barbecue was a bloody joke. 2 hot dogs per employee, cheap bastard. Aye, and he tried to light the barbecue with his electric hands. Aye, and all burnt his fingers to a crisp. Bloody idiot. Oh, well, now we've got to go to this big meeting. What's it all about, anyway? Some kind of bonus announcement, I hope. Well, apparently he's going to get knifed by some wee girl. What? Nah, fuck this, I'm off. So Rey faces off with Old Man Palpy, and he tells her that he wants her to kill him, so that he can take over her body. Why does this idiot keep telling people what his plans are? Fucking Billy Blabbermouth. Then he uses his Sith powers to disable all the rebel ships attacking his shitty fleet. Must be great to have this massive fleet that's so crap you need to personally protect them. I mean, what's the fucking point? Oh, also I forgot, Kylo had a wee chat with his memory of Han Solo after he'd been resurrected by Rey. His imagination had a chat with himself and then forgave himself. So essentially, he's gone mental at this point. But telling himself that he forgives himself turns him into a good guy. So now he shows up on planet Shitballs and he has to fight the Knights of Ren without his lightsaber. He decides not to use the Force much, or the blaster that they just showed him use. It's a crazy strategy, designed probably to confuse the Knights of Ren, and it almost works. Except the Knights of Ren just start kicking his shit in. But then Rey teleports a lightsaber to him, and he just massacres them. So much for the dreaded Knights of Ren. So now it's him and Rey against Old Man Palpy, as all those shipbuilders look on. Confused shitless, presumably, at the nonsense playing itself out in front of them. 4 years at Sith shipbuilding school for this crap. Meanwhile, away from the stupidity of all this, things are going much more traditionally for a space battles movie. Finn is attacking the lead Star Destroyer with his group of rebels on horses. And a bunch of other rebel ships have turned up thanks to Rando. Where they came from and how he rounded them up in about half an hour is bewildering. But by now, it's just a case of getting through it all to the end. So Old Man Palpy now realises, out of the blue, that Rey and Kylo are a Force dyad, whatever the fuck that is. And his decades-old plan immediately changes. And remember, this guy can see the future apparently. So he decides to just drain the Force out of them using Force Drain to regenerate himself. Then, just for a laugh, he tosses Kylo off a cliff, but he decides to fry Rey. He could have chucked her off a cliff as well, but he likes a bit of variety, and remember, he's putting on a show for the staff here. But then Rey hears all the old Jedi tell her to get off her arse and do something. So she gets her lightsaber, and she's struggling to defend herself against the electric finger master. Until she gets another lightsaber, deflects the Emperor's lightning back onto him, and he just disintegrates himself. It's kind of like Force double lightsaber Palpy fuck. It's got to be said, he's pretty shit with that lightning of his, Old Man Palpy. He should really try something else next time he inevitably comes back.
Surprisingly, Rey dies as a result of this effort. Now, you'll forgive me for being a tad suspicious. This is about death number 6 in the film. Is this one a fake out? Of course it fucking is. JJ's probably thinking the last thing they'll be expecting is the same thing 6 times in a row. Kylo climbed up from his fake out death and force heals Rey back to life, which kills him. But this time he disappears, so there's no chance for another fake out for him. 7 death fake outs. That's the number JJ draws the line at. Then we see all the Star Destroyers getting destroyed, and it's a big happy ending all round. They go back to the Rebel base, where Chewie Woo gets his medal and probably a Wookiee snack, so everything's wrapped up fine. The trilogy ends with Rey going to Tatooine for some reason, and burying Luke and Leia's lightsabers for some reason. Then the culmination is this scene.
Hello there, my dear. I'm new around here. What's your name?
I'm Rey.
Oh, aye, Rey. That's a nice name. Rey what? I said Rey what? Ah, fuck this, I'm off. Bloody kids.
Then we get to the shot of her and the twin sons, which is the real reason she's at Tatooine at all. It's meant to be poignant, even though when Luke was on Tatooine looking at those same sons, he was probably thinking, I can't wait to get away from this shithole. But there you go, that was it. The Rise of Skywalker. To be fair to J.J. Abrams, I imagine the head bummers at Disney or Lucasfilm or whoever said to him, here's what our focus groups want from the final film. A good send-off for Leia, Luke to come back and be more of a mentor, a Lando cameo, a decent bad guy, a little explanation for Snoke, more locations and adventures for the new guys, Rey doing some training, Kylo being redeemed, the Knights of Ren finally turning up, some new characters for toy sales, Rose Tico being sensationally sidelined, tons of new force powers, more for 3PO and Chewie to do, a big middle finger to Moonface Johnson, an Avengers-style action ending, and having the film ending on Tatooine. And JJ's probably said, that's basically a trilogy of its own. Well, you've got one film, mate. One film, 2 hours. Get fucking moving. So what we get is basically 3 movies of stuff shoved into one confusing mess in a vain attempt to fix the mess of The Last Jedi and wrap up the trilogy. Personally, I think it's best summed up by this. I hope you enjoy this first attempt at a YouTube video. Thanks for watching, both of you. Like it if you want, or hate it. Comment, share, subscribe, ring the bell, milk the wasps, whatever it is you're meant to say. Now I'm going to rewatch The Last Jedi, which I honestly never thought I'd do. But after this, it might be funnier. I'll let you know what I think anyway. See you later.